Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you a little about the excessive jargon usage that many of the financial advisors and MFDs have got used to, and why I think that people are put off by this jargon. Now, anything like even financial planning, goal setting, estate planning, writing a will, all these are little scary. Why is it scary? It's because nobody has ever come and said that I don't want to do financial planning. When I say you should do financial planning, everybody nods their head very sagely. But I know that that is not something that they genuinely believe in. So let me just analyze what I think. It's not some great study that I have done, but many of my friends, I wouldn't say most of my friends, many of my friends don't think that they need a financial advisor. It does not matter whether they are in catering business, textile business, they're doctors, or their bankers or their venture capitalists, doesn't matter. They don't have financial advisors, and they all think, oh, it's something very simple, I can do it myself. There is enough data available on the net, so I will be able to do it myself. There are enough tools which are available, so I don't need anybody else. And all I have to do is perhaps put money in an index fund, buy a term insurance. Beyond that, I don't need any financial advice. They don't even appreciate the fact that financial advice goes far beyond. In fact, 95% of the work is related to you, and 5% is related to picking up the right product, right? So you don't even know what a financial planner does, but you know that you don't need a financial planner. It's like saying, I don't need a therapist, I'm perfectly all right. And then you realize that you are going through a lot of stress. Maybe you need maybe you need a therapist, maybe you need a advisor. But then there are cases, I mean, you see people saying, oh, I don't need a therapist, I can do it myself. Or even telling their own loved ones, all you need is some love and care, so I'll hug you and give you good food and you will be all right. It's horrible, the amount of damage that people have done believing that they are doing good to their family in terms of financial health and mental health, not so much for physical health. When a person has a heart attack, nobody comes and says, oh, I will hold your hand and I will give you a hug and a kiss, and if I kiss your heart you will be fine. But a crack in the heart is treated far more nicely, in the sense that with more attention and care than a crack in the head. A crack in the head is, oh, he has to take care of himself. Look at our own great case of Sachin Tendulkar had physical injuries, which the BCCI and everybody sent him to London for training, sent him to South Africa, for medical care, sent him to South Africa. But there was Vinod Kambli, who perhaps had some crack in his brain. He needed therapies, he needed genuine help in terms of a psychologist or maybe a psychiatrist. He needed all that help. It never occurred to anybody around him, of course, long back, which meant that guy retired at the age of 23, right? So, sorry, but financial advisor is something like that. Nobody thinks they need a financial advisor. Also, perhaps it's because of the jargon. When you say financial planning, they think, oh, this guy is going to come and put restrictions. He's going to say, don't spend like this, don't go on a vacation, don't buy this car. A very negative kind of a thing. So instead of financial planning, if you start using words like let us invest for some of your goals that you have to meet, for buying a car. Don't talk about short-term goals, long-term goals. People don't understand the terminology. That's fine by you, because you say, oh, for buying a car you can use this money pot, or some this dabba which we create will be for this jabba which we create will be for your daughter's education and daughter's marriage, and this would be for your son's education, son's marriage. This is for investing in your, when you want your loved ones to be happy permanently, then you have to do proper documentation. So make sure that your names are right, make sure that your will is in place, make sure you have a medical will, make sure about so don't use very heavy terminology. Don't use terminology which you yourself will have learned in the last 2-3 years, which means the client may not even know these terminology. So it's a very big put off. So the same person who says, yes, I will do financial planning, does not know what he should be doing. He does not realize what are the things which are necessary, what is to be written down. So don't intimidate the person and start giving but please start giving your financial advisors in extremely small doses. So don't say this is the whole process, or you finish off that whole thing in 5 minutes saying, well, you have short-term goals, you have long-term goals, you have to do this, you have to do this. That can be very difficult for them to understand, because so many new words to be taught on the same day does not make sense. So sit with them, spend some time. Yes, they may not have too much time. Also, the problem is today we are doing most of the talk without meeting in person. If you're meeting your client maybe for the first time or second time, but you're meeting over a Zoom call, you don't know whether that person is listening to you with attention or is doing something else. It's very difficult to engage with people. Also, I wouldn't trust somebody if I can't meet them, because I do not trust them without looking at their body language. Are they lying? Are they telling the truth? Are they doing it for my benefit, or are they doing it for their benefit, right? I need to know all that. Only then I am able to decide. So as a financial planner, use less jargon. Like for example, say investing in the future of your loved ones includes writing a will, right? So, but you don't have to say that, you don't have to remind people about old age. The problem with financial planning is somewhat akin to Siddhartha or Buddha, right? He goes out of the house for the first time and he sees a sick man, he sees an old man, and he sees a funeral procession. Now, these are the three things which all financial planners have to deal with, because you are going to talk about medical insurance, you are talking about pension, and you are talking about making a will or taking term insurance. So you're talking a lot of negative things also. So I also think that it is possible for you to split the days and say, oh, we will talk about all the positive things like your daughter's education, daughter's marriage, son's education, whatever, buying a bigger house, taking a vacation. We will talk about all that. So on that day, leave with a very happy note. Another day, sit and talk about illness, medical insurance, term insurance, making a will, etc. So be very careful about what you are doing. Don't ask the client to do too much of writing. You write it down yourself and then create the plan, so that the client does not have to sit and write and do things like that. But there could be some clients who would be very happy to fill in questionnaires, whether they understand, don't understand. So ask the client to fill up the risk questionnaire 2-3 times, and also ask some questions which are not at all connected to this, saying, tell me some accident which you have had, how did you handle pain, what happened to you, how did you react during COVID, how did you react when your father died or grandfather died, how young were you, right? Those are the things which will tell you how that client is going to handle the downside of a market. How is he going to handle the pain, right? So try to use stories, try to build in those words. Don't use words which sound like jargon even to you. Even if it doesn't sound like jargon, try talking to some of your friends, etc., and see what they feel. What they feel is more important. Also understand today the client, if your client is a 60-year-old, his 30-year-old daughter may be looking at life very differently. They don't look at you as a sincere guy, they look at you as a plodder, saying, अरे वो बैग लेके आ जाता है, लैपटॉप लेके आ जाता है, कुछ करता है, sits with my dad, does something. I don't know what he does. Yeah, I don't trust him. For no reason why that 30-year-old or a 25-year-old is not able to trust you. Maybe the words they use, maybe the jargon that you use is a put off. Maybe they're saying, oh, he talks to dad about retirement only. Most of the time he's talking about retirement. मेरा तो retirement बहुत दूर है. So unless you're able to communicate across age groups, unless you're able to communicate to the man of the house and to the woman of the house, unless you're able to communicate to the children, this AUM will not belong to you. So suppose you have a client who's got a 3 crore AUM with you, and you have been talking very nicely to their children, very nicely to the wife, etc. You suddenly find that you have lost the AUM because the husband died and the wife got a new advisor, somebody who wore pink on 8th March and sold her a pink term insurance, a pink mutual fund, and a pink ULIP and all that. So you can feel bad for yourself, you can feel bad for your friend who died, your customer who died, but they can do nothing unless you communicate with less jargon, unless you communicate and say investing in loved ones rather than saying writing a will. Make sure what language women understand, what language children understand, what language your client who is a man understands, right? All that is very important to engage with the family. I think I'll do a video like this even on engaging with couples. Please engage with the couples. Don't let the wife just sit there and not participate. It doesn't work. Thank you.